I used to think making money as a content creator was next to impossible unless I had 1 million views a video. I just figured if I kept posting, my audience would grow and I'd make more money. More views, more ad revenue, more brand deals, etc. But the weird thing was that as I continued to get more views, that never happened. And it was weird. I was at a time where I was grinding. I was putting out tons of videos, really high quality content, and my views were going up, my channel was growing, but the income wasn't really changing much. Now, luckily for me, I have many other businesses that I make money from, but a lot of people aren't in that situation. But what it really made me wonder is how are there other content creators in the space that use content as their full-time job who have the same amount of viewers as me, but make way more money? And that's when I realized I was playing the game completely wrong. Because the creators who are making the most money, they aren't just playing the game of chasing views. And as I dove deeper, I realized that every single one of them is actually selling something to their audience. That way they can focus on having a really dedicated audience rather than a ton of people watching them who don't really care. As I got more and more into content and I started to realize really what it meant to make money as a content creator, I realized that I was in a really unique position because my background is in e-commerce. I build e-commerce businesses for myself. I've been doing it for 7 years, hundreds of clients, etc. And so what it's allowed me to do is have a great understanding of what it means to sell a product, as well as understanding what it means to build an audience and be a content creator. So I saw an opportunity, and what I started to do was work with content creators to build their own physical product brands in order to help them better monetize in the same way that I was. And so in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I've done that for myself, other people as well, and so that you can replicate it exactly. So with that, let's dive into it. It took me a while to break out of this mindset of believing that the only way to make money was to go viral. And I thought if I just get enough views, the money will just take care of itself. And the reason for this is because there's basically 3 main ways that content creators make money. You have ad revenue, brand deals, and affiliate partnerships. Starting with ad revenue, it's great, but unless you're pulling millions of views, you're not going to be making much money from the platform. And this is the only avenue to make money that actually depends on the views, but it's a really inefficient way to make money. Affiliate marketing is the second way, and this can be really good if you have that dedicated audience. The only drawback is that you're not owning that audience. So when somebody makes a purchase, you're only getting paid a commission on the very first sale. And you don't really benefit from the growth of the company that you're providing them by driving traffic. Lastly, we have brand deals. These are really good, but they're a little bit more inconsistent. I know this firsthand because on my main channel, some months it'll be crazy brand deals and other months I'll make 80% less. So it's really inconsistent and all over the place. That being said, when you zoom out on a longer time horizon, they're really well paying. But this goes back to what we were talking about before. If every creator who had a ton of views made a ton of money, then every TikToker would be super wealthy. Because at the end of the day, the views that you get doesn't really matter if you don't know how to properly monetize it. And that's something that in the beginning, I didn't fully understand either. And so this is when it all finally clicked for me. Instead of taking inspiration from the creators who pulled the most views, I started looking at the content creators who are making the most money. Now, obviously it's a little bit difficult to understand who's making more than the other person, but because I have an e-commerce background and I've worked on the other side of things offering content creators brand deals, I had a rough estimate on who was making money and who wasn't making money. Now, there's a ton of different ways that you can sell your own products to your audience, whether it's digital, physical, subscription-based products, or platforms, but the common denominator amongst all of these content creators who are making money is that they actually owned the audience. And what I mean by that is the creator's audience were being brought into an ecosystem that the creator owned. So they had their email address, they had their contact information, they could continue to sell products that the audience members wanted. And once I understood that, everything changed because it's not about getting millions of people to watch you. It's about getting the right people who trust from you and actually want to buy a product or service from you. And so instead of focusing just on growth, I kept on thinking, how can I turn this into a business? Here's a few things that changed. Number one, I came to terms with the fact that ad revenue was not going to be the main source of revenue for the channel. And so with that in mind, I stopped optimizing for views. The next thing I did was focused on trust over virality. This kind of goes hand in hand with number one. I made content that positioned me as the expert in my niche. And then I tested multiple different income streams. Digital products, physical products, paid membership communities, all until I found one that actually worked. And this is going to be different for everybody. Different audiences, different people, different niches are going to like to buy different products from the creator that they watch. And that's when I realized that it's a lot easier to make 10 grand from a very small group of very loyal followers than it would be to try to get 1 million views on a video. So here's what the top content creators in this space are doing that allow them to be way more successful than people who are much bigger than them. Number one, they stop treating content like a lottery system and start treating it like a business. Number two, they start selling something that they actually own rather than funneling their traffic to somebody else's company. Now, they don't do that exclusively. Most of the content creators in the space are both doing brand deals, affiliate partnerships, and launching their own business. This is a way to diversify their income to make sure that they have multiple different income streams and that they can grow their brand over time. And this leads me into the last thing that they do, which is building long-term income streams instead of just solely relying on the one-time big paychecks. So now the question becomes, how do you know what your audience wants to buy from you in the first place? The first place to start is look at the niche that you're in and what do people actually want from you? Why do they watch your videos in the first place? For example, if you're in the fitness niche, people don't watch you for entertainment, most likely. They watch you because they want to get helpful advice and real tips on how to lose weight. If you're in the beauty niche, people aren't just watching you for the makeup tutorial. They're watching you because they want to know exactly what kind of product that you're using so that they can get the same look as well. So ask yourself, what do people already come to you for that they're interested in? Another great way to do this is look back at past brand deals that you've already done. What's worked well? What does your audience really like? And what do you think they want more of? But the method that I actually recommend you use to find products to sell is, what do you already use in your videos? If you're a makeup person, do you use a lot of brushes? If you're a cyclist, do you wear a cycling jersey in every single one of your videos? What are you actively using in the video that you can switch out with your own product? Push people to, because they're going to want to wear the same thing that you're wearing or use the same thing that you're using, and you already know that there's demand for it because you use it in your video. So you don't even have to sell your audience. You don't have to tell them to go buy it. They're naturally going to want to because they see you using it. The next thing you're going to do is create an offer around that product, whether that's a physical product, a digital product, maybe it's a VIP community. There's lots of different options. Now, once you get through that area, there's one section that creators 90% of the time mess up. They think that selling is about asking people for money, but selling is really just presenting a solution in a way that makes sense and provides real value to the customer. So for example, if you're trying to sell the fitness guide, make a video titled "The 3 Biggest Mistakes People Make When Trying to Lose Weight." And then instead of having to say, buy my product, you just use your product in the video. Using that method makes it super organic, makes people understand that you're not trying to sell them, and that if they do want to buy that same product, there is an option to do so, but you're not forcing it onto them. Using these methods is going to allow you to make more money with fewer amount of views and allow you to actually create content that you're more passionate about. Because usually the content that drives the most views is not the kind of content that creates the most community. And so it'll allow you to stop worrying about the algorithm and actually create content that your audience wants to see. So ask yourself, what's one thing that you could sell right now that your audience would love? And once you figure that out, everything changes. So with that, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, drop some sort of constructive comment, be subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next one.